Yo, in this video, I'm going to be going over exactly how I managed to leave a 9 to 5, drug taking, crime, run-ins with the police, all behind to pursue my fucking dream of earning money online, wherever the fuck I want in the world, whether that be Thailand, Brazil, Bali, Australia, you name it. I want to make money there. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did that and how you can do the same. Let's get into it. The timeline, right? School explosions, substance abuse, weekend fights, okay? I was literally hanging around with the wrong crowd, trying to fit in, trying to be something that I'm not. That is probably 80% of the youth in the UK today, right? You're hanging around with a big group of people, you don't really have any direction, so what you tend to do is just try to fit in with the crowd and do everything they're doing, right? On top of that, you're trying to prove yourself to the group. So you're doing the bad shit, you're committing crime, you're getting into fights, you're sticking up for your mates, even though they probably won't stick up for you. That's just the beauty of it. Now, school explosions, me getting kicked out of school a numerous amount of times. This was me just messing about. I was actually taking drugs in school. I was turning up on a Monday, still off my head. I was twagging, I was smoking at school, I was smoking weed before school, everything, right? Substance abuse, weekend fights, that were all just a massive part of my identity when I was growing up. And it led me on to getting into trouble with the police, getting into trouble with people in my area, and really putting a massive target on my back for, you know, getting into rows and arguments with people who I didn't even know, you know. Crown Court, house arrest on tag, house raids. This was probably the pinnacle of my journey, right? The pinnacle of the worst part of my life was going through this stage. I was getting into a lot of crime where the police were heavily watching what I was doing. My house got raided at one point. The whole house got searched. Luckily, there was nothing in there, but I still got taken to the cells. I got questioned, etc. Furthermore, the next day, me and my ex-girlfriend, we got strip searched. We were driving on the bypass, police stopped us. This was like 2 days after the raid. They pulled us over and they strip searched us, right? So we both had to take our clothes off in front of like 3 police officers and had to squat straight in front of them, no bullshit. No way out of it, no, oh, I need a lawyer, this and that. It was straight, take your clothes off, do a fucking squat, butt naked, embarrass your fucking self, and then if there's anything on you, we're gonna take you to jail. That was basically it, right? Throughout this period of my life, I had numerous occasions where the universe was telling me to stop doing what I was doing. I was having that many close calls that it came to the point where I knew I needed to change something, right? I knew the life I was living was bad. All within this, I was still working a 9 to 5, right? So I was still at my job every single fucking day. Sometimes I'd twag if I'd been off it for the night, but the most part, I was actually a welder, right? So I'd weld hot metal together 8 hours a day, get covered in black soot, come home, have to wash all that shit out of me, fucking breathing all this fucking gas and shit all day, snotting out black muck all over the bathtub, everything, right? It was a dirty job, right? And I did that for 8 years, okay, alongside of actually committing crime and living a whole double life, because I thought I still needed to keep up that personality. I still needed to prove myself to the streets, right? Yeah, I'm doing all right in this welding job and I got a qualification from it, but in regards to the streets, they don't give a fuck about that. They just give a fuck about if you're on it or not. This led me down a deep spiral, right? After my house got raided at the time, I moved back home and I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the fact that I'd actually ruined my life and I was like 21 years old at this point. I had no direction, I had no purpose. I didn't understand what I actually wanted out of life. I just knew I didn't want a 9 to 5, hence why I was doing all this shit outside of my 9 to 5 job. I understood that it was going to take another level, another person, a different Joe to actually achieve that. So I decided to move back home, cut ties with her, cut ties with a majority of my friends, and really just lock in on self-development. At this point, I didn't even know what online money was. I was making money, you know, welding, and I just locked in on that. I stacked my money and I saved for a trip to Thailand. This is fucking me, bro. This is actually me, right? So from left to right, you can see that I am a completely different person. This is not a timeline, but these are probably some of the worst photos. Oh, they're probably not actually. They're probably PG to be put on here, right? So there's me smoking spliffs. I used to smoke weed like constantly. That was a part of my identity. I used to wake up, smoke. I used to smoke before school. I used to smoke first thing as I got home from school. I used to smoke on my dinner. Second one in, that's me being a degenerate, sat on the floor, you know, probably 7, 8 in the morning. People are going to work and I'm, you know, off my head on Ciroc, right? 18, 19, 20 years old. Me there with a red circle around my foot is actually me with a tag on my ankle, right? That's when I actually went to a festival because I couldn't bear the thought of me missing out of this event when in reality I should have been staying at home, you know, on tag, thinking about how I can change my life. Now, I was probably about 19 years old here, thinking, oh, fuck it, it's just a tag. I can be in by 9. I'll just go out, get off my head and come back. It's just stupid decisions that I was making. I didn't realise is the choice I was making at the time. I was affecting my family, myself. I was ruining my future. And yeah, it inevitably led up to me reaching a point where I was in, you know, severe depression. And I really wasn't, you know, enjoying life. You know, I had no direction. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what identity I carried. Being a mixed race guy, you know, you're half accepted by the whites and you're half accepted by the blacks. You don't really have that culture or that place you can go to because you're a mix of both worlds, right? But your skin's a different colour. So this is all things that I was trying to find out within myself. But throughout this journey, I fucking knew that I didn't want a 9 to 5. So this is the turning point. I actually changed my life. I dedicated my life to my fitness. I got in insane shape. And I started to invest in myself, right? I started to put money into coaches. The first one was a fitness coaching program. The second one was how to actually coach people, right? So like a personal training program. Inevitably, that led to me, you know, gaining enough money to be able to leave the country and go to Thailand, right? And I left the 9 to 5 behind, right? So I actually gained a bit of money. I stacked it up and I took a one-way flight to Thailand, and with the dream of actually pursuing to be an online fitness coach and help people transform their body, their mind, and get themselves out of, you know, dark places that I were once in. How it all started, right? Moving to Thailand. This is the turning point. This is the turning point of my life. Like, this is such an important point of my life. I went to Thailand, and this is where I actually met people doing the same thing, like pursuing their dreams, working online, staying fit, not drinking, not smoking, not taking drugs, and not living a life of degeneracy, and actually enjoying life for what it was. As you can see in the pictures, look, we're playing pool, we're boxing, we're sparring, we're, you know, sat on the veranda doing work with the abundance of Thailand culture and the beautiful weather and the scenery, and just being around like a new whole life, you know, setting a whole new life for myself and really pursuing the things that I wanted in life around people who are all doing the same thing. Now that energy is unmatched. Throughout my whole life, I've been searching for community. And when I found these lads in Bangkok or wherever they were in Thailand, it really, really resonated with who I wanted to be and what I was chasing. Right, so the start of my journey to actually making an income online. As I mentioned before, I actually left to Thailand to be a personal trainer, an online coach, right? I realized that making online money is much simpler than having to have your own business, right? You can actually make money by working for someone else. It sounds simple, but I didn't know this. I thought, right, I'm going to use my skill, I'm going to create content, and I'm going to attract people to my page, get them signed up on my program, and then collect money off them and train them. There's marketing, there's sales, there's customer fulfillment, it all goes into this. And if you're a one-man band running a business like this, it can get overwhelming, right? And that's exactly what happened to me. So I decided to pivot, right? I decided to actually find an online sales role. What is an online sales role? An online sales role is basically working within someone's company, helping them generate revenue by doing certain tasks, right? For example, DM saying, okay, this is where you're working in a business's Instagram DMs, right? Or an influencer's Instagram DMs. You're handling all the messages and you're booking them onto appointments with the business owner, right? Once that business owner closes the deal with the prospect that you've set through the text messages, you earn a commission off that, 5 to 10%. So if the program's £1,000, if you set one person and he closes, you've earned yourself £100, right? Easy as that, just for texting one person on Instagram. Sounds simple, right? Because it fucking is, right? And it's as easy as that. I got my first DM setting role, and then I onboarded onto 3 DM setting roles. So I was doing a fitness coaching offer, I was doing a property management offer, and I was doing a tax efficiency offer. All 3 of these guys were helping me generate revenue whilst traveling the world in Thailand, right? And that was my first stepping stone to the online sales roles. Did that till May 2025, and then I landed a role as an SDR. What is an SDR? So an SDR is someone who actually picks up the phone, rings a lead, confirms an appointment, qualifies them, and get them booked onto a call. So instead of actually working in the DMs now, you're working on the phone. But this phone is obviously not your mobile phone, it's on the laptop. So you'll have a CRM where you'll have a list of numbers, you plug your earphones in, you'll sit at a cafe and you ring people all day, right? Simple as that. I think I was working around 6-7 hours a day maximum, and I was earning a decent amount from that. I was earning 3 to 4 grand every single month, right? And I did that until August. But bearing in mind, right, sales is like a ladder. There's so many steps you can go up within sales, right? First, it might be DM setting, then it might be SDR, then it might be closing, then it might be managing, then it might be having your own offer. There's so many steps, and there's a clear path route to progression, not getting paid for your time and actually getting paid on performance, which is amazing. So let's say you land your first DM setting role, okay? There's a list of KPIs. Maybe you need to message 50 people a day and reply to all previous day's messages, right? If you do that in 2 hours, that's your day done. Simple as. That is your day done. You don't have to be there 8 hours a day. You don't have to clock in. You don't have to clock out. You can have your lunch whenever you want. You can have your tea whenever you want. You can go for as many biscuit and tea breaks as you want. And that's that. You're living life on your own terms. You're getting paid off for performance and not time. And that is what is so important. And that's what's going to allow you to actually travel the world and live a life that you've actually been dreaming of and not be stuck in a 9 to 5, tied down by a manager or a boss or anything like that, or a certain location. I landed my first closing offer, and it's the same closing offer that I'm on till today. As you can see on here, I've been able to close multiple 5-figure deals, earning myself 10% commission off each deal. So if I close a 25k deal, I earn 2.5k in commissions for that day. You're getting paid 10% off each commission. Like you can see here, 6k, 7k, 17k, 5k, 14k, 5k, etc. The list goes on, right? So I've been able to earn a consistent income through high ticket sales, through being a closer, through being an SDR, and through being a DM setter throughout my journey of actually being in online sales, right? Now, why the fuck can't you do the same? You can't, right? In total, I have accumulated more than 750k in revenue for said company. What remote actually means, right? Financial independence, freedom from your past, and flexible lifestyle. You're going to be able to live life on your own terms. You're going to be able to set your own hours. You're going to be able to work where you want in the world. For example, one of these pictures is me in my bedroom working. Another picture of the picture above is actually me in Colombia, in Medellin, right? At the back end of 2025. That's my calendar of where I set my times. I can decide next week if I don't want to do them hours. I just block out my calendar. And then I can eat what I want at my desk, right? Whenever I'm ready. Okay, so you get that financial independence to actually be able to travel the world, work where you want, and live the life of your dreams. Next, what remote sales actually means, right? Now, as I mentioned previously, there's going to be a huge progression to your growth. You might start off as a DM setter, move your way onto an SDR, and then closing, or you might just start at closing. From there, you can be a closing manager, a setter manager, sales op, the list goes on, right? It's literally a huge ladder with amazing potential, right? You're not capped on growth. You get paid on performance. It's a high demand skill, so businesses are actively looking for people to fill these positions, and you've got unlimited earning potential, right? If you take 10 calls a day and you close all 10, that's all your money. If you average 50 calls a month, or whatever it may be, 100 calls a month, right? If you're able to take 200 the next month, that's all your money of all of them that you've closed. And if you're able to do that in a short amount of time and not spend a lot of your time doing it, you're laughing. Continuous growth, high demand skill, unlimited earning potential. This is going to allow yourself to be potentially placed into a multi-million-dollar company and work up the ladder to earning thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds per month, right? You don't get a set hourly rate. You don't get a set time you've got to be at work, and you can just progress. Simple as, you can progress. That's the bottom line, right? Because you don't want to be stuck in a 9 to 5 begging your boss for a promotion. You want to be showing him that you're turning up, putting the work in, and the cash collected is the result. You can show him, look, I've collected 100k this month. That's my result. Boom. Finished. Yo, I went from on the way to jail, on the way to a deathbed, right? Taking drugs, committing crime, falling out with friends, not knowing who I was, to a person living in Brazil. You learn a high income skill. I get paid based off my performance, not off my time. And I'm able to travel the world freely, earning money online. Now, you can do this in less than 6 months if you put the work in, but it's up to you to make the change, right? It's up to you to actually come to terms with the fact that you're probably not living the life that you thought you was going to live when you were maybe 10 years old, right? Because I know I wasn't. Looking back, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a footballer. I had all these dreams, aspirations. I wanted to travel the world. Then I got to 21 years old, 22 years old, and I realized, like, I'm not doing any of them things and I've not accomplished nothing. But it's only up until now where I feel like my life has progressed, because I'm able to be positioned in the world as someone who's a valuable asset to a company or to myself. I can go and take this skill anywhere now, right? Once you've learned the skill, it's never going to go away. You just keep improving it every single day. So if you're watching this now and you want advice on how to get into the online world, how to actually earn money online, travel the world, and learn a high income, valuable skill that's going to be able to pay you for the rest of your life, drop me a message in the comments. I'm happy to help. I've launched a free community. The link's going to be in the description. Jump in there. There's going to be modules on how you can actually land your first role. I'm going to be doing calls once a week, and I'm just going to be running Q&As and helping you guys out land your first role, actually taking a step into the online world and hopefully changing someone's life, right? So bless up. Glad you stayed to the end. Let's fucking get it.